are on the site of the castle.
And it was the first time the Beatles had really stopped being semi-professional almost.
Look at that.
Absolutely fascinating.
That's what you do. You buy these players that cost money and make a difference in it. But we never do that.
Never complains, gets up, gets on with a smile on his face.
We just want you to sit in your chair and go hip hip hooray to the Western press and the Western narrative. You dare dictate the same old every single day without this. If you haven't seen it before, please watch the first series, the first 2 episodes, the second series. Stallone. Absolutely. Got a message off Jason. Yes, I'll answer it. Anyway, it's good evening from me. Yes, definitely a good evening. I hope you have all enjoyed your holiday. We've got more to go. I'm doing a football pod tomorrow, but it's early it's not at the usual time, 8 o'clock. It's going to be around between 5 and 6 because it's New Year's Eve, isn't it? So, seeing Tony LFC. Tony, did you send me a friend request? Because I'm sure I confirmed it. I'm sure of it. Just let me know, please. Thank you. If you're okay. And you're not a Martian or a hacker. Anyway, I hope you have all enjoyed it anyway, you know. Okay. Tony, I'll confirm it now, actually. If you give me a moment, just give me a moment, I'll confirm it. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to confirm it now, so just hope it's not a knacker, because I'm very careful nowadays with that. So I've confirmed it, Tony. Okay, mate, thanks a lot. And there he is, look. Evening, Frankie. And 2 pints, Frankie. Wait till Anthony comes on, he'll be getting the scotch. Frank, he gets the pints. Anthony gets the scotch. Well, evening, Frank. Happy New Year to you and everyone. Thank you, Lynn. Same to you. Same to you. Thanks a lot. And don't forget, I'll be doing the pod on Thursday. I'll be doing it on my own tomorrow, but George Scott will be joining me on Thursday because he's a Scottish fella, isn't he? New Year's Eve. So anyway, I'm going to bring on my great friend here. And I'm wondering if he has a few scotches over the holiday. Could have asked him now. And there's the lovely man himself. Anthony, are you mate?
Good evening, all. Yeah, I have dipped into the wonderful amber nectar, but not today. So I'm safe for driving with you. Well, you're driving, I'm the passenger.
Well, there's Sony, Irish tea, and a couple of Scotch. Hello, Anthony.
Thank you. And God knows we're going to get the weather for it from tomorrow, aren't we? I just talking about George then and his Scottish take on obviously it's a big thing tomorrow. But my brother-in-law Peter, who you met a couple of times, he's Scouse and now lives in Aberdeen, has done for 30 years. And we're speaking to him on the phone. He said all the Hogmanay, all the organised shows and stuff that people will go out to for the bevy and or whatever, all been cancelled.
Cancelled.
Tomorrow night, yeah. Because of
these storms coming, horrible weather.
Yeah, extreme weather, yeah.
So you never know, do you? You know, what kind of... I think people will be better staying in, wouldn't they, really? You know, getting a few drinks in and just having a nice get-together. You know, family, a couple of friends and that.
Absolutely right, Frank. I mean, it's kind of something that we've done for almost forever. If we're going to go out, we'll go out like tea time tomorrow and then be back. Well, we haven't done it for a couple of years, and to be honest, all the kids are at home. I've got me wonderful bottle of bourbon that you bought me, so that's on the table for tomorrow night. And we're just here. We're just here. Put music on.
We're just going to thank our sponsors of the Frank Carlyle Show, and that's Gab Painting Services. And listen, these lads, no matter what time of the year, these lads are absolutely superb. Great bunch of lads, time served, for all time served, fully insured. They're in and out. And if you're an elderly person, shall we say, a senior citizen, you get a special discount. And not only that, but if you're an NHS worker, whether you're a cleaner, whether you're a surgeon, whether you're anyone working for the NHS, you also get a special discount as well. So please don't struggle. Don't struggle trying to do rooms or anything. Get these lads in. They're brilliant. They're really brilliant, and I'm not just saying that. And as I said, they're a great bunch of lads. They really are. And they're in and out. And they leave your place the way you had it. But all lovely and decorated. So don't be worried. Okay? Just get them in. And even if you're not in that category of, an elderly person, still get great prices. Really get great prices. Oh, there's an old mate of mine there, Will P. Good evening, Frank and Nancy.
Oh, good evening, Will.
Lovely fella. And normally I go to this, like what we've been doing. That's how I met Will. I was looking at this Nuuk airport. Nuuk is the capital of Greenland. Now, why I went on to that, I was reading, and I'm just talking, how can I put this? I was looking at some things, about Trump. I'm going back a couple of years ago, and he's been trying to buy Nuuk airport, this airport. So I Googled Nuuk airport, and I seen it, and it was a live thing, and it fascinated me. It's only a small airport, it's a small airport. And then today, that's how I got to know Will. Then today, there's Trump coming out and saying he wants to, we want to buy Greenland. this is what the Americans are like.
Wow.
The
Wow.
whoppers, you know. So there's always something behind the madness.
Yes.
But Alan Hudson, Alan, hang on a minute. Hi Frank, best wishes for the new year to you and your family. Keep warm and safe. Thank you, Alan. Alan is one of my mature students going back a few years.
Oh, brilliant.
He used to bring me home. You know, drop me off.
Yeah.
You know, after the classes. Used to say, come on, I'll drop you off. Used to drop me off. Sometimes he used to come up and have a cup of tea. Frank's famous tea. So, really nice man. And the same to you and your lovely daughter. Yeah, I'll tell you something, Anthony.
Yeah.
And the Redbirds are like this. His daughter, I don't know whether they're still together. I'm going back a few years ago. And her boyfriend was German from Dortmund, still living in Dortmund, by the way. And she used to go over, and he used to come over here, and I was talking to him. And he said, you've got a great manager. We'll get onto this. Here's what he said. He said, you've got a great manager in this. And this is when he first came, Klopp.
Yeah.
He said, you've got a great manager. But there's one fault he has. And when he told me, I went, no, he said, do you know what it was? He becomes too loyal to certain players.
Oh.
And you've only got to look at Milner, haven't you, and Henderson, and you know, these type of players that will pass the sell-by date, to be honest. But he was mates with them. He was like buddies, you know.
Yeah.
That's what the lad told me.
It's a hard one to, if you've got that kind of humanity in you, that kind of friendship, it's hard to turn it off and on, isn't it? And I know.
But if you're running a business and they're not doing the job, it's like any business. If you've got a manager and you know it's deteriorating the business and it's his fault or part of his fault, you just like either demote him or get shut. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Right. Will P, just like to wish you both a great new year, whatever you're doing. Thank you, Will, and the same to you.
Thank you, Will, and all the best to you and yours. Yeah.
And the Redbird says, great this fella. Sorry I'm late, Frank. I've just got back from a meeting with MI6. See the eyes. Hi, Anthony. Good to see you, sir.
Good evening, Redbird. Nearly Happy New Year.
And the Will says, Trump has actually been trying to buy the whole of Greenland for years. That's mad, that, isn't it?
It is mad. Obviously,
that is mad.
It furnishes a plan, doesn't it?
It's the ultimate
scary in itself.
Hello, everyone. Says the Ottoman. Yeah, Ottoman.
Good.
It's only LFC throws him a scotch. He doesn't throw me a scotch, though. He only throws me pints of beer and mince pies.
Well, you know, we share.
And Alan says, Alan Hudson, they are getting married. Oh, that's lovely, that. That's really lovely because, you know, I was going to say to you, Anthony, you know, when you see two lovebirds, they were two lovebirds.
Yeah.
But you don't know what happens. That's why I said, you know, oh, that's
happy
lovely.
ending. Yeah, we like happy ending.
Made up with that. Really, well done, Alan. Spot on, Frank, says the Redbird.
Yeah.
Spot on, Frank. Now, what was it? I wonder if it was about Jürgen. But,
yeah, I think
he's your son-in-law of Alan said, you know. he becomes too loyal, and he did. The Ottoman Turk comes up to Tony, and so here you go, Frankie. Look at all the Scotches.
There you go.
Don't think you will.
Right.
So anyway, what are we going to talk about tonight?
Well, it's
Anything interesting?
It's always a nice way of a gentle catch up on the stuff we talked about for a year, and then looking forward to. I know we've talked privately about a couple of subjects and a couple of people that I personally would love to hear you talk a bit more about, and I look forward to that in the new year. But it's kind of like we've had a good year, a full on year, and there's been an awful lot happened, and there's been an awful lot we've discussed, and our team, our friends out there have discussed with us. So,
Yes.
Might be nice if any of the guys out there send us a line to say if there was a particular subject that they enjoyed this year was talking about. And
I just want to go through a couple of these.
Yeah.
Will says Greenland is a stepping stone for the USA defence, plus all the untouched oil reserves, diamonds and gold. Yeah, when I googled it, Will, about Greenland, there was lots of geologists there, and obviously geologists are not just there for oil deposits, but also for diamonds and gold and other minerals, and there was swathes of these rocks. Incredible what they were doing, and that's how I got into that Nuke Airport.
Oh.
And because I just went to Nuke Airport, and I went underneath it, and bang, there's Nuke Airport live. So it's a good thing, that. And obviously Trump is a businessman besides, the coaches.
Yeah, he's got an army of business people who are propping him up, and
Yeah. And the Redbird says yes about the great man Jürgen. Yeah, that's what I mean about him being too loyal to some certain players. So I'm glad you agree with me there, Redbird. I really am. And David Owens, I'm doing a program with David, and you, hopefully. But it's not going out live. We're actually doing it, so it'll go out at a later date, and it'll be powerful. It'll be powerful. A lot of wokeness will be brought into it. A lot of like the changing of history and things like that through wokeness, so it'll be a powerful thing that David and I are doing. Great archivist, this fella. Honestly, he's one of the best. I know a couple of archivists, but he's one of the best. And he says, Happy New Year, Frank and Anthony. Bet you didn't know this Tony Blair's son, Nicholas Blair, also known as Nicky, is a football agent in the US Football League. He has a few Mexican internationals under his control. Oh, didn't know that at all.
No.
Didn't know that. The fingers and everything, the Blairs. And Dennis, all the way from Tampa. Hi guys, back to Tampa from Nashville with a bit of leggy. Nothing, a bit of warm sunshine and palm trees can't fix. Happy New Year, and Trump's a clown.
Oh. Happy New Year.
And all the best, Dennis. I hope you enjoyed yourself in Nashville. I really do. Really do mean that. I hope you enjoyed yourself, because you know that you went to your family as well in Detroit, didn't you? Back up there, but there you go. Nuke International Airport now, Frank. Yeah, it's because of the extension, isn't it? And because all is the only had, propeller planes.
Yeah.
That's all they had, flying and passenger planes.
Yeah.
And they built in it. I haven't seen it since. And they built this extension. Now they've got all the jets, flying in from everywhere. The likes of Canada, the States,
Yeah.
the States. The Redbird says, Anthony, when you and Frank talk, I listen. Respect to both of you. Fine gentlemen.
Thank you, Redbird. But I tell you what, when you guys talk, we listen.
Yeah. No, that's why, because it's.
It sends us.
I had a great show last week,
Yeah.
and some of the comments were absolutely amazing. They really were. They know what they're talking about. The Redbird says, Frank, you probably forgot I said Klopp with his beautiful spirit kept players way past this. No, I remember.
Yeah.
Remember that? Yeah, of course I do. I mean, yes, yeah, and that's what that lad said. The Dortmund support. Margie Roberts, even a Frank. All the best for the new year. Hiya, Margie, and all the best to you. Isn't that lovely? That's lovely, that. Nice little surprise. Thank you, Margie, and all the best, honestly, to you, sweetheart. And Dennis the Paparak says, was a brill visit with the family in Tennessee. Too muchly, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's nice, that. And it's nice when you come out with a little terminology like that. Too muchly.
That's
because
what.
it is when you meet your family. And
Yeah.
I was made up just to see Francine and James and Ben and Sophia, my grandkids here when they came down. I was absolutely made up. She's going away tomorrow. Is Sophia and Francine going to Paris Disneyland?
Oh, you know what? It's beautiful. Certainly for the kids. We went going back quite a few years, but before Christmas. It's a weird one, but I can't imagine being anywhere else. We moan about the weather and stuff here in Liverpool, England, but I can't imagine being anywhere else at Christmas time. I
No.
go before and I go after, but Christmas is about
Christmas. Look,
putting a
I've said this before. I only said it last week and the week before. I'm not just talking about Christmas either, but I said, because it's Christmas, enjoy what you've got, embrace your family, embrace your friends, and your friends, beside your family, which is so precious. Your friends, they're precious too, because you don't know who's your friends and who's not your friends. And unfortunately, sometimes you find friends out.
Well,
and you just say, well, that's it, But that's just me. That's just me being me.
Experience teaches us a bit more of that as well. But some people are wise to that. My mum was bang on with people, and she had a cynical eye, and she could look and say, "He's get rid of him. He's not good." So it's a gift. My mum and all her sisters have got the same thing, and our daughter Emily is like that. You've met her, Emily. She's great, but it is keep you. But this time of year, Christmas and New Year is it I find a time for reflection and thankfulness. You round up your friends, you get a phone call, or you make a phone call, or you see them. And it's about
A phone call and a text is lovely.
Yeah.
A phone call and a text is lovely. That's what it is. That's what it's all about. You know, you
Yeah.
just get a nice text which comes, you know, out the blue, for example, and a phone call out the blue. And
Yeah.
it's nice, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That's the
Absolutely.
way it should be.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
that I phone people like, I say to people, look, I don't know what you do. Jason is the worst. I'm not being funny. He knows that because I say to him, Jason, I don't know. You know, he could be at work. He's got a big family to look after, and he does look after them. He's got
Yeah.
a mother who lives around the corner, you know. And so I just say, Jason, I don't like phoning here because I could be interrupting something, you know. And he just says, okay, no problem. He understands
Yeah.
because I'm just there. I'm here. I'm on my own.
Yeah.
I'm on my own. So, yeah, I've phoned people and you know, they're in the middle of something or they don't answer. And when they finally get back after a day or so, they say, oh, I was doing such a thing, you know. See, so I just leave it now. Wait for people to either get hold of me or, but if they ever get hold of me, then
No, but I'm as guilty of phoning out, and even phoning in. You know, it's just me. You know, just me, Laney, and the kids in the house. I work from home and everything now, so it's everything is tied in here, and sometimes you're busy doing stuff, and sometimes you just if I'm reading a book or if I'm on one, if you plant a seed and I'm researching something, I won't answer the phone to anyone. I'm just on it, and then 6 hours later, I feel guilty for not taking that call or phoning back. But that's been me forever. You know, that's me forever. Me and phones don't get on much, but no. You and I had a gap over Christmas, and that was
yes, we
nice.
did. And there's a nice little gap. Yeah,
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 and
absolutely.
that's what makes the world go round. And we'll have a gap New Year as well.
Yes,
Yeah, I'll phone you up on Wednesday. Yeah.
don't bother. I'm only joking. I'm only joking. Well,
Have you
like,
got?
someone rang me up once, you know. I looked at see that and I'm like, what do you want? And he went, you know, on the other end of the phone. What do you want? I'm only joking. I'm only joking. You know, that's a shame. Bloody, I thought you had to come on with me.
Well, so
No,
far I've never had that off you, Frank.
no, I was only joking. I knew it was, you know, obviously. You know, I just, what do you want?
Yeah. Oh man. Well, I'll be celebrating tomorrow night and Wednesday,
Yeah.
because I celebrate a birthday rather than a New Year thing. We never really do New Year thing, although I understand, and I'm always kind of joyous to hear Old Lang Syne, because it's a it's a message I kind of appreciate. But other than that, you know, it's a
But, you know, it's the only thing I'll be Francine's with away, so you know I'm staying in anyway, and even so the you know the bad weather and everything else. Um, what I'll be doing is having a Bailey's,
good,
having
good.
a couple of Baileys. That's what I'll be having.
Well,
You know what I mean? So that'll do, mate.
that
What's the jelly? You know, after
that's
the podcast,
brilliant. Yeah, no, that's brilliant.
in the
Well,
new year,
if
so,
you get a phone call and it's from seemingly a drunken Scotsman, Probably be me singing all like dying down the line, but you know.
All right, Jimmy. Dennis Pepper actually, thanks Redbeards, Happy New Year to you and yours. And the Redbeard replies, Dennis, back to you, bro. I hope you and your loved ones have a very happy New Year, 100%. That's lovely.
Wonderful.
And the Will P says, don't, when you set, I'll give you the ring on Wednesday. I said, oh, don't bother. He's laughing his head off. You know what? I was talking last night, I think it was last night, wherever it was, on a pod. And I mentioned about, I was trying to give an analogy, I forget what it was about now. But anyway, I said about a Colonel Bolton.
Yeah.
And, you know, with this duel in 1805, December the 20th or 10th or 20th or whatever it was, the last duel in Liverpool, you know. And anyway, I got a message to say, well, it was the fella. You never mentioned the fella. And I do apologise. A fella named Sparling. And Sparling's on a men, unfortunately. You get these duels in Liverpool, and people think that it was only a French thing. And it wasn't. It wasn't. The last duel was in Pembroke Place, you know, in the December 1805. And it's surprising, isn't it, you know, that duels took place in this country. Because, as I said, you know, people only thought that it was around in France.
Yeah.
And Germany. Germany has a lot of duels. That's why you see, you know, when you see old photographs of these Germans, especially Prussians, they had scars down there where, you know, a sword had hit them, sliced them, you know. Yeah. And they used to have duels, you know, with the old sword.
So, did the mode of dueling, did that change over Europe? Like over here, the things that I've seen and you see in movies and things tend to be guns, pistols. Yeah, you walk 10 paces. But in other places, it would have been swords or...
Sword. But there were swords here as well, you know. There was duels with swords, if you know what I mean. There were swords. That's why we had great fences, and that's where it like really stemmed from, if you know what I mean. I'll tell you who was a great swordsman. So I'll tell you who was a brilliant, he was a champion as well at it. Sherlock Holmes himself, Basil Rathbone.
Wow. Now there is a remarkable man. We were watching him today because that's where we love to just tune into all the old Sherlocks, you know, and his attachment to Liverpool, obviously the Rathbone family, and the fact that he was in the King's Own.
Liverpool Scottish.
Yeah, Liverpool Scottish Regiment. Yeah.
Wow. And do you know who his best mate was? And they used to have pranks, the pair of them. You know, he used to play jokes on each other. And that was Noel Shavas. Him and Basil Rathbone were like that.
Wow.
Double VC. Think about that. But the unfortunate thing about the likes of when Shavas had actually died, it really got to Basil Rathbone, you know, because it was his mate, it was his friend, it was I forget, I don't know whether it was one of the brother of Noel Shabazz. I'm not quite so sure about this.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it was Bernard, a fellow named Bernard, who survived actually the war. He was an MC as well. He was a military crossover. I don't know whether it was him or Basil Rathbone himself, because he said when he died, and it's it. No, it was Bernard. Bernard,
It's a brother.
yeah, and he said it affected Basil Rathbone tremendously.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it
The
shows,
lost friend.
just shows you.
Wow.
It's
Do you know
like,
what?
you know, these trench warfare lads, they, you know, I'm talking about, you know, the officers of the trenches.
Yeah.
And they, you know, they had to go over the top with them and, you know, got back. That's why there was many poems written about all these lads in the trenches. And they were the proper horror. You never got any stories from the press. You always got the propaganda, how well they were doing and everything else. And, you know, it was to keep the people happy, whether you can be happy in a war.
Yes.
But it never mentions anything about, you know, the disasters of going over the top and things like that.
Yeah.
It's like the Vietnam War, you know. You know the Vietnam War. I don't want to talk about wars tonight, by the way. But the Vietnam War, believe it or not, the Americans, do you know when, like, they were bringing back the casualties of the war?
Yeah.
Well, they stopped it. They stopped. They said no more of that. You know, bringing home the lads, you know, in body bags. They stopped it all. The Americans, they said no, because it was upsetting the ordinary public. Every day, you know, on the news, you see a plane coming in and all these coffins coming out. Those big planes, you know. So they stopped it. It's nuts. Anyway, Tennessee's, as much as I enjoyed Rathbone's portrayals of Sherlock Holmes, Jeremy Brett was the definitive actor for the role. I disagree there. Sorry to say, Jeremy.
I kind of love Jeremy Brett, but you can see that he got it from Basil Rathbone, you know.
Basil Rathbone, the man.
Yeah.
And as he says as well, Dennis, as much as David Suchet as Poirot.
Yeah.
Agree there.
I always loved Peter Ustinov as Poirot because he has that twinkle and that sense of humour as well in it.
Well, the Redbird says, Tefo, Jeremy Brett was Sherlock and David Suchet was Poirot for me. See, the thing is, he was a perfect, Basil Rathbone was the perfect fit for Sherlock Holmes. You know, and, you know, in description and everything else.
Yeah.
Even his voice. Now, the Americans, all those Sherlock Holmes were made in America.
Yeah.
So it was Americanism.
Yeah.
That's why you're saying about Jeremy Brett, because everything was made over here with Jeremy Brett. And he was Jeremy Brett made Sherlock Holmes into a dark character.
Yeah.
About drugs and things like that.
Yeah.
So that's why you might suit you.
What I loved as a younger guy is because I used to religiously would watch Jeremy Brett, and he was sensational. And a lot of episodes were filmed here in Liverpool, around Huskisson Street and
Yeah.
around the cathedral. Because if we take any of our friends with us tomorrow to those areas, you'll see, other than the traffic, which you can't avoid these days, it looks historic and it looks like 1800s London. Isn't it? Those streets, Huskisson Street, the Georgian Quarter, all of that. It just looks so Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, it looks authentic, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I've got a picture. Jared Fleming. I went to give him a talk, a talk. Great photographer, Jared.
Yes, brilliant.
And he said, would you do us a little talk? I'm opening an exhibition up. So I said, yeah, I'll do that. So anyway, he went like that to me at the end, we thanked me. He said, I want you to pick a picture. I said, no. He said, no, what? I want you to pick a picture. Because he takes pictures of buildings and streets and things. He said, please take one. I didn't want to really take one, but anyway, one caught my eye. And after the break, I'll show you. I'll get it off the wall and show you this picture. Because, as you said about London, the picture's absolutely superb, and you'll see what I mean by it when I show you.
Jared has got an absolutely fantastic eye.
He has got a good eye.
He goes to places where no other photographer or tourist would go and photograph. And not only buildings, he's got a real emotive feel for capturing portraits of people. And you see a portrait of a person and you see the life in them at a Dock Road cafe or somewhere in town. And really, really powerful, wonderful work. And he's always been there for Lainey and I for years and years. And he just turned up. You've mentioned a couple of times the time I played at the cathedral, the Mike McCartney thing. I didn't know Jared was going to be there.
Yeah.
And he was there, and he shot 2 photographs, which are just jaw-droppingly brilliant, fantastic. And then he's been there at some exhibitions and things, and he'll just come in, take one shot, go away, and send me a copy. Just amazing photographer.
Well, that's the point, isn't it? Because me and you take a photo, that's taking a photo, that's there, but he works on the photograph that he takes. Because when Sophia was born, he showed up, as he normally does, out the blue.
Yeah.
And he took a cracking picture of her, in the pram.
Yeah.
In the pram. And I've got it there. It's absolutely fantastic. The way he took it and worked on it. He's just a wonderful photographer.
He is, and he's a wonderful observer of Liverpool life.
Yes.
In fact, he's probably the truest
it's an art within itself, though, isn't it?
It is, Frank. You hit the nail on the head, and that's what I was struggling with. He's an artist in that, and he captured Liverpool the way we would want someone to capture Liverpool.
Yeah, absolutely. Will P says they used to film at Kensington Park for Sherlock Holmes too. The buildings and the gas lamps are still in situ. Just shows you, doesn't it?
Yeah, because the big film came to town as well, didn't it? Not so long ago, Robert Downey Jr.
That's what I was going to say. I met him and Jude Law. I had this group of people, and I was outside, I was outside the Philharmonic Hall, not the pub, the Philharmonic Hall, and I was showing them the Art Deco glassware. You know, say, look at that. You know, brilliant, the glassware. You know, people don't look at it.
Yeah.
And yet, it's fantastic. Herbert J. Rouse, you know,
Yeah.
was building, the architect, and he did the design of the windows, which is fantastic. I was showing these people, and the next, you know, people, you know, I'm talking to them, and all of a sudden, their heads turned, if you know what I mean, to look over my shoulder.
Yeah.
I turned around, and it was Jude Law and Robert Downey Jr. I think they were waiting for the cab. So I said to him, won't be a minute. I walked over to them, shook hands with them, and, you know, just told them a little bit of stuff. You know. I said, what are you doing here? He said, we're going down to the dockside, to some location work.
Yeah, because they would stay at the big hotel there, almost opposite the Philharmonic.
Yeah, well, that's Hope Street they stayed at.
Yeah. As you know, we've met some beautiful people there, haven't we?
Yeah.
From King to all of them.
Yeah. Loads of them.
Yeah.
Loads of them. Do you know Paul Birchall, by the way?
Don't know.
Paul, he's a smashing lad. And he's had photographs with everyone. Every conceivable celebrity. And I'm talking about big names.
No, I
I remember him getting a photograph taken with Pamela Anderson.
Oh.
And I said, are you going to see it again? He says, why? I said, give him my address. Send it up to me.
Oh.
You know, so he's incredible. It's like, you know, talking about Jared Fleming. This fella's an artist within himself because he takes selfies with all these major stars.
Yeah.
Incredible. Yeah. Absolutely amazing, you know. So some great Liverpool people, you know, floating about.
People from, you know, that had I met him around the time that I met you, then they would have been in the exhibitions that you were. They just been. I love Jared is just the real deal. He's just a big-hearted, wonderful Scouse and amazing talent. And we love the guy. Laney and I, just brilliant.
Well, Paul Birchall, Paul McCartney knows him. And he always gets his photograph taken with Paul when he's up here. Because, you know, Paul said, you know, after a few years, Paul McCartney, this is Macca saying to Paul Birchall, is that you again? How many photographs do you want with me?
Wow. Do you know what? You've just reminded me of another Paul by Dakota, a friend who became a friend of John Lennon, Paul Gorsh.
Paul Gorsh, yeah.
Yeah, and he took the very, very last photos of John, which we saw in the papers. Quite profound because they were the last. But he took photos of him for years, and he wanted to meet him when he was a younger guy, and he had this plan that if he went to the Dakota and said that he was a TV repairman for one of the apartments, that the guy would let him in, and he did. The guy let him in, and he said, which apartment, which resident would you like? He said, I think there's a fault with Mr. Lennon's TV. So he shows him up to John Lennon's apartment. This is how easy it was in like the early 70s. knocks on the door. John answers the door, and the security guy says, "This guy's come to fix your TV." And John says, "Oh, yeah, great, come on in." And that was how they first met. And then bit by bit, Lennon was quite cynical with him, because obviously he knew in the end that this was like a fan trying to get in. But Paul was always there taking photos. And he'd take photos and John would say, "Don't put anything out, right? I'm going to do something next March, then you put them all out." He said, "Okay." And true as a word, he didn't put any photos out. And then when John started to do Double Fantasy, he said to him, "Go on, put the photos out." Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Amazing story. Real people.
Yeah, well, these are real people. Be talking history after the break, okay? And I'll see you after the break.
Mount Pleasant is one of the most unassuming thoroughfares of Liverpool, yet it has a very interesting past. For example, there is a very small garden dedicated to one of Liverpool's greatest citizens, William Roscoe, who was born right here in Mount Pleasant in an inn run by his parents. Roscoe Gardens. Lots and lots of people just walk past it every single day and don't take a blind bit of notice. But follow me, I'll take you in. The man who brought the country's first botanical gardens to Liverpool in 1801. However, this humanitarian's greatest achievement was when he led a group of Liverpool abolitionists who campaigned tirelessly against the slave trade. Roscoe's abolitionists finally won the fight when it was abolished in 1807. Incidentally, the designer of this wonderful memorial was also a Liverpool great, the town surveyor and architect John Foster Jr. And incidentally, he also lived on Mount Pleasant. So if you want to see his house, follow me. This is where he lived. Foster was responsible for designing the likes of St Luke's Church, locally known as the Bombed Out Church, the Grades 1 listed oratory next to the Anglican Cathedral, and of course St Andrew's in Rodney Street, with now the famous Mackenzie's Pyramid Tomb. Oh, it just remembers what I've passed walking up Mount Pleasant. You can't miss out on this. Come on. This is what I forgot to tell you. This wonderful dwelling is the oldest Georgian building in Liverpool, built in 1767. It's just a magnificent example of Georgian architecture at its best. Right next door, when John Lennon was born, just up the road in Oxford Street, he was registered here like so many of Liverpool's other citizens were, famous or not so famous. You most probably were registered here yourselves. And next door again, remember this building? This was Liverpool's own dolls' hospital. Yeah, Liverpool has its own hospital for the sick dolls, a unique institution indeed. And people did actually bring their broken dolls here. You could have been one of them, bringing your poorly sick doll. Ah, bless. This striking building is the Wellington Rooms. It was adopted by the Irish community, and later it became affectionately known as the Irish Centre for many, many years. It was built in 1816 in honour of the Iron Duke himself, Wellington, for his greatest victory in battle at Waterloo over his greatest adversary, Napoleon, the year previous in 1815. I'd love to take you in, but unfortunately, and it breaks my heart this, it's fell into disrepair in the inside. The whole of the ceiling has collapsed.
Yeah, I used to, when I graduated, or graduated a few times,
Yeah,
used to go in there for a drink.
I absolutely love that building. Love it. The acoustics in there are fantastic. It would make such a wonderful independent theatre of venue, music venue. And, I'd still keep the artist centre. Uh, if it could be repaired, then yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to show you that picture. I hope you can. It's a big picture. But I'll show you why I picked it. Let's see. It's a big picture. I hope you can see it. Can you see that?
I can
Hang
see
on.
some
Hang on a
reflection.
minute. Hang on a minute. I'm just going to take it off a minute. Okay. I'll just take it off a minute. Anthony. And it's
Shots. Wonderful.
what it is. It's the Walker Gallery of a night, and it was foggy. And then the lamps going down, they were lit.
Yeah.
And I went, whoa, and it just reminded me of 1888, Jack the Ripper.
Wow. Well, I've got we're on the one of showing pictures. Find the right way up. You won't see it yet because it's a long way from finished. But this too
I'll take myself off. Hang on.
is it's the same scene, almost same area, which is is a shot up towards the Stable Fountain, but with all the buildings and the street lights and stuff in nighttime in the rain. We went to pick our, you and I have talked many times over this, and our team, our chat, that is like the most beautiful part of town, building wise. William Brown Street, Stable Fountain, all of that. So we went to pick our Katie up, who'd gone to see a theatre show, and it was pitch black, and it was chucking it down, and it was the most beautiful thing to see, as Jared has captured in that picture for you there, with the lights illuminating kind of 8 and 10 foot spaces. Beautiful. It really is a very moving part of town anytime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you look at, all around, I used to have a smashing picture. When you look at William Brown Street, what they were going to do, if you take away the Mersey Tunnel, by the way, just take away that, right? What it was planned to do was to go right down there, across, where the Mersey Tunnel is,
Yeah.
and carry up St. John's Lane, right to the edge of, the arches in Lime Street Station.
Yeah.
That's where that was going to go, because that was going to be a massive neoclassical forum.
Wow.
Just like the Romans.
Wow.
That's what it was going to be like. And something happened, And as you know, the rest is history, because you've got the Mersey Tunnel there, 1934, Queensway. So just imagine that, though, going right down there, across where the Mersey Tunnel is. There wouldn't have been no Mersey Tunnel there, obviously. And then up St. John's Lane, right to the edge of Lime Street. All those, the likes of the Sessions House and the library and the art gallery, the museum, everything, just those buildings, St. George's Hall.
Stunning.
All those buildings going right around, if you could imagine that.
Wow.
Right to Lime Street. Incredible.
Just
It would have been absolutely an amazing sight today. And people forget, that when we had the city status of from UNESCO, not the city status, the World Heritage status, when we had that, the World Heritage site, it wasn't just up here ahead. It was also William Brown Street as well, all the neoclassical stuff.
Yeah.
And also Hope Street. So you have 3 sites.
Thoroughly deserved.
Yeah, but it's been taken away. We haven't got it anymore.
Yeah.
And I always remember, there's a few pictures here. That's what it was. Look at that.
Yeah.
Just look at that. Incredible. So if you could imagine that carrying on right down, right across, where down there where the, that's the Old Day Market, what's called the Old Day Market. And going right across there, then up North John Street, St. John's Lane, not North John Street, I'm sorry, St. John's Lane to Lime Street Station. Amazing. It's just amazing what, was there, or what could have been there, along with these fine buildings. And if you look closely at that picture, Anthony, if you look at the picture, do you see the wall retaining St. John's Gardens?
Yes.
Well, what you see is railings around, and you have big gates as well. You have massive gates on the entrances, and they're there no more, unfortunately, because they were taken away because of the war effort. They wanted to make bullets, you know, for guns and things like that, and shells, but unfortunately, they were useless. So they were just melted down into whatever, nothing. And they taken away all those lovely railings and the big gates, big iron gates. And if you ever go down to St. John's Gardens and you look where the entrances, what you actually see is it's like brass and they're on the floor, and it's where the gates opened, you know, because they were wheeled.
Yeah.
Where the gates opened.
Yeah.
So it's things like that. But isn't that fantastic, that picture?
It's fantastic. And I love St. John's Gardens, and on a good day, there's kind of a serenity about it, a peacefulness,
Yes.
like St. Nick's as well, St. Nick's Gardens. And that is just absolutely amazing. But going back to what we were talking about before, the Basil Rathbone and Sherlock Holmes and the stuff, you can immediately understand the attraction of Liverpool to filmmakers.
Oh, yeah.
Because, that could be any majestic city in the world almost. I know now there's a lot of footage shot in Liverpool to substitute for New York,
Yes.
all sorts of places. But
Yeah, you've got the likes of Water Street, that substitutes
yeah,
for New York. Even Fenwick Street, where, you know, a typical New York, you know, little shops,
yeah,
you know, with the big blinds coming out and
yeah,
canopies. You had them. Also, what you had about, I'll tell you what it was. Do you know the library? The library, you know, the Walker. Right.
yeah,
I always remember being on the bus and I was going home and it was roasting hot this day. Roasting hot day. And what I'd seen, and I was looking over, and you had two Soviet soldiers with big hats on, you know, them fur hats.
yeah.
And you had snow. You know, this machine was blowing snow, if you know, and it was a roasting day. And that was for a film, but it was never shown. It was cut for some reason. The Hunt for Red October with
Okay.
Sean Connery. The
Yeah,
Hunt for the Red October. That was the submarine, you know, the Soviet submarine during the Cold War, obviously.
yeah,
And they cut it for some reason. But it's been used forever. It's been used for Berlin. St. George's Hall, the steps used as Berlin. Anywhere in Europe.
yeah,
And as you said, America as well. And as you said, the likes of, you know, going back to the 19th century, even going into the 18th century, the 1700s. Incredible. Absolutely amazing. You know, the locations in Liverpool can use for any period.
yeah. You could film a Dickens, or obviously Sherlock Holmes and everything in Liverpool because the backdrop is there. You
The
know,
backdrop's always there.
we have it all.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
just areas like St. James Cemetery, all of that, the tunnel entrance, it's just majestic for a filmmaker.
Well, as St. John's Gardens, you know, what people tend to forget or don't even know, that was a cemetery, St. John's Church, you see, church, which was pulled down. And the gardens, a fellow named Shelmedy designed the garden, the outlay, what we see today. So it was a cemetery. So they took all the, you know, the English bodies out, because what's still under there, still today, are 2,000 French prisoners of war from the Napoleonic Wars. 2,000 French lads. And there's a big tablet saying, you know, both in English and French, talking about the thing, you know, the cemetery.
Just
It shows you, doesn't it? You know,
yes.
what's below your feet.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's below your feet.
Yeah.
You know, when you do some history, and I mentioned the Mersey Tunnel. Now, the Mersey Tunnel, believe it or not, is one of the 6 finest, in the top 6 of the finest entrances in the world today. And not many people know that.
No.
And there's St. John's Church.
Wow.
It's incredible, isn't it?
I've seen sketches, etchings of it, but I've never seen that photo.
The original church. Big.
Wow.
It was big. It was massive. Church. It just shows you, doesn't it, when you look at, you know, going back and you're looking at the likes of St. John's Church and St. George's Hall. Now, the Lumiere brothers,
Yes.
the filmmakers, the French filmmakers.
Yeah.
There's a thing taken, I think it's in 1896, actually filmed in Lime Street, looking down.
Yeah.
And you see St. George's Hall, obviously, and
Yeah.
you see St. John's Church.
I've got a copy of it. Yeah.
There you go.
And there's little tiny kids.
Yeah.
that
No. Yeah. Look at that.
Stop in front of the camera because it's like, you know, never been seen before.
No.
People are scowling at the camera as if it's, you know, intruding in their life. Yeah, but life goes on, and there's market little traders selling apples and stuff, and very Dickensian.
It is Dickensian, and that's the beauty of Liverpool.
Yeah.
It really is the beauty of Liverpool, because when you look, as I said, look, that's what I was telling you about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Soldiers, Soviet soldiers. As in, Jason's unbelievable, isn't he?
He is.
Unbelievable. And it was a roasting up day. It was roasting up that day. Incredible. Incredible.
Just.
Yeah, look at what the Redbird says. It really is sad knowing how much history has been destroyed and hidden from us. Absolutely, Redbird. I could go on and on and on about loads of things, and it's heartbreaking. Now there's the Lumiere brothers I was talking about. You know the film.
Yeah, the footage, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the footage. Now what you see as well, if you look at St George's Hall, you can actually see that frieze at the top. Now that
Yeah.
frieze was taken down, and they never ever put it back. And I always remember when they were refurbishing it, and there was a lad named Paul Foote who lives and works in Florence.
Yeah.
Unbelievable sculptor he is, an unbelievable sculptor. And I was talking to him about a frieze, and he went, I'm going to show you. He was over here, he was doing a job. He had a maquette of our friend. He had the maquette of Kitty Wilkinson.
Yeah.
And it was there. Yeah, look at Jason again, look.
Just look at
Now,
that.
that had been taken down. A fellow by the name of Nickel did that, right?
Yeah.
And like I said at the time, and I was talking to Paul because he was over there with the maquette. He was he was the three finalists. He was only three finalists. He should have won it. I'm being honest. He should have won it hands down. It was a fantastic statue. Maquette of Kitty Wilkinson.
Yeah.
And we know Michael, don't we? He's no longer there with us, unfortunately. And anyway, he said, he showed me a drawing. He showed me a drawing of that. And he said, I can do that in marble. It'll cost £2 million. And that's with the transport, insurance, everything. And to be put in. 2 million, that's all. I know it sounds a lot, but it wasn't a lot.
Yeah.
And that would have been to finish off St George's Hall, because no matter how great and everything else, I love St George's Hall.
Yeah.
It's not finished because of that.
Yeah.
Because of the frieze being taken down.
Yeah.
That went up in 1856, by the way. A fellow by the name of Nickel designed all that.
Why was it originally taken down, Frank?
I know the reason, but I'm not going to say it.
Was it nothing to do with the war? Nothing like
I will
that.
tell you privately.
Okay.
I will tell you, and you'll go. And that beautiful piece of history, that's a 650-year pieces of history, you know. And there's Britannia in the middle.
Yeah.
There's Britannia. Anyway, it was taken down. It was supposed to be, cleaned up, which was a load of nonsense then. Absolute garbage, if you know what I mean. To clean it, you can clean it there. There's no problem. Put scaffolds up and clean it. Anyway, it was taken down. There, look. Look at it.
Oh my word.
It shows you, doesn't it? Like the red bird there says, it really is sad knowing how much history has been destroyed and hidden from us. And that is what he's saying.
There's more life and artistry in that piece of work, more life certainly, than there is
Incredible,
in backs and hats who are looking at it.
incredible.
Yeah, incredible. Is right.
It's threadbare. Frank, can you do a shine like this to tell us to these? I wish I could. Jason, do me a favour, mate. Put that one back on that you put up first, please. If you can. Yeah. Right. See, when you look at that, when you see the size of those figures, right, you see the gentleman there, looking, they're life size, They are life size figures. They're not little things, life size. And Britannia, it's incredible. As I said, it's 650 years of history on that thing. And they took it down. And it became hardcore for a road. Hardcore for the road. I got a phone call, right, once. And I forget the fella. And he worked for the council, and he said, do you want to see something, Frank? He says, it'll sicken you. I said, what's that? He said, and I met him. And I'll tell you where I went. I went to St. Domingo Vale. And there was a little corporation yard there. And I met this fella, I didn't know him from Adam. He said, yeah, come out. So when we walked down, I was like, these things. And he said, have a look at this. And what I seen were two things. He said, this is going to knock you sick, Because I was talking about that with Tony Snell. I was talking on the radio. And he said, have a look at this. And here's what I seen. You can see that there, can't you? Right?
Yeah.
Can you see a wheel on a chariot? See the horse?
Yeah, rearing up. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the back of it, that's a chariot it's pulling, and there's a wheel there, right?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
And I also seen the legs, or one of the legs of the horse, and also Neptune. Neptune is, like in front of the horse lying down.
Yeah.
And just a couple of other things smashed up. And the other thing was, I hope Jason's there. The other thing was, do you know outside the Mersey Tunnel, you had one of the greatest of all Art Deco lamps in the world. A big black granite lamp. And bits of that. Corrugated they were. And I was going to, I said, can I have a piece of that? And he said, yeah, no problem, take it home. It was about that big, this piece. And I said, I'll come back for that. And when I went back, the thing was shut. Because, I was driving then. And when I went back, yeah, look at that. That's outside. That was outside.
Yeah.
Doesn't that, as I said, it was corrugated, and I had a piece of that black granite And when I went back, so I never bothered going back for it. Because when I went up, after my college thing, lecture and that, it was shut. It shut. But I never went back for it, and I've regretted that ever since. And that was a piece of that. Look how beautiful that is. Art Deco at its best. And the light was golden, you know. It was a golden light. So they took it down. And where they took it down, there's nothing built on it. It's still there today. Just a big round thing. Doesn't that sicken you? Yeah, look at it. Look at it.
Yeah.
Sickens me. And as the Redbird says, why destroyed something so beautiful and magnificent, you evil bar stewards?
Can't argue with that.
The Redbird says, off topic, Frank, but MI6 are at us again. I can only see my comments and chat at the moment. They're everywhere. But when you look at the entrance to the Mersey Tunnel there, it's Art Deco at its best. And Herbert J. Rouse, I mentioned Herbert J. Rouse before about the Philharmonic Hall and the beautiful panes of glass. Yeah, look. That was a toll booth. And that's down where the Pierhead is now, you know, by the big vent.
Yeah.
The big vent, right? Do you know how they got that? Do you know what that was? You know, it just went missing, you know, when everything else goes missing in Liverpool. That was that was to the entrance of the Mersey Tunnel. Then when they decided to like do things and take things away, that became a toll booth, a tote booth up at Haydock Races. And we got it back.
Wow.
And they, you know, they placed it there by the air vent. Art Deco, Herbert J. Rouse. Isn't it beautiful?
It is beautiful. Yes.
And you know, like when it was in use, the lights on the top that were always lit. They were always lit. You know, for the night going through at night time. Incredible. But it's incredible what we've lost throughout history, unfortunately. And these are the type of, it's hard to explain it. We've lost so much over the years, right through. We've knocked buildings down when they shouldn't have been knocked down. You had the likes of John Cunningham's 1841 Sailor's Home. Gone. Just gone. And that went, yeah, look at that. Look at the two lamps. Two lamps. Magnificent. Absolutely magnificent. And that's our air vent. But when you see, as I mentioned, 1841 Sailor's Home, that came about in, when was it knocked down, demolished? 1974. 1974. And the hole was still there until Liverpool won in 2008, 2007, 2008 was being built. John Lewis was built on top of it. It's absolutely ridiculous. It really is, you know, what we've lost over the years. There it is. That magnificent building in 1974. Just think about that. Some of the buildings. And when you look, you have, in my opinion, one of the greatest of all philanthropists. And that was Lewis's. You know Lewis, David Lewis.
The Lewis family, yeah.
He was one of the greatest philanthropists for Liverpool. And he built two hospitals, the Northern and the Southern Hospital. And he felt so sorry. These are for the poor, you know. And he felt so sorry for the poor. And he said, these have got nowhere to go. They couldn't afford to go to the theatre or see and do anything. So he built the David Lewis Theatre. The David Lewis Theatre. There you go. Look at it. He built that. That's the Northern Hospital.
Wow.
And when you see it, I went there, you know, as a little kid.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I fell over and cut myself and whatever. I think we all went there. I think I went there for my polio thing as well. You know, a sugar cube.
Yeah.
Polio thing. But, you know, he built that. Look at that.
Wow.
Look at that. And that's it. That it became a hostel and also a club. A hostel and a club. The David Lewis Theatre. Gone in the 70s. Why? The 1970s.
Yeah. That was the coolest era in buildings from 71 onwards.
There it is. There it is. The David Lewis Theatre. Red brick by the Anglican Cathedral. And it came down in the 70s. What a hotel that'll be today.
Oh, Frank, absolutely. Absolutely.
Same as the Sailor's Home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sailor's Home. And that was by David Lewis, the man who gave us Lewis's, the man who gave us the Northern and Southern hospitals. Great philanthropist. So when you see all the, and it is, I always call it criminal vandalism. Criminal vandalism. I used to teach about, lecture about the Romans. Like when you see the fall of the Roman Empire, you had the Vandals going in. And the Vandals, just destroyed they just wanted no part of any of that Roman stuff. And they went in, the Vandals, hence vandalism. Hence vandalism. And
But
this is what happened there.
that looks so right, doesn't it? The,
Yeah. And as Will Peace says, there is just so much destruction of our emphasized heritage. You see, you don't mind buildings. Look, for example, Commutation Row.
yeah,
Commutation Row. It was the only row in the whole of the country that was exempt from window taxes. And right smack bang in the middle, if Jason can put us up, I'll show you something. I'll show you something. I'll point it out. And it should have been in a museum today. There it is. There it is. Right? That's Commutation Row.
yeah,
See all the lovely white buildings? Can you see the one in the middle? Can you see the one? It's black.
yeah,
See that one there? See where the red bus is?
yeah,
See the black building
yeah,
above it? Can you see it?
yeah.
Oh, I needed to get you see.
Oh, sorry, Frank. Yes,
Right, so that black building, there it is.
yes,
Do you know what that was? What that became? That became the very first blind school in the world. Edwin Rushton's blind school, 1791. And he knocked it down. They knocked it down. And I said to that story fella, I said, I heard that it was coming down. I said, you can't knock that down. Do you know the history behind that? It's the only row, it's commutation. They were exempt from window taxes. The only one in the country. Also was the very first blind school in the world. Edwin Rushton's blind school for the blind, so they could make money, making baskets and things. Oh, it's unsafe, the buildings. And he gave the same excuse to the Casa Charlie buildings down the bottom of Duke Street, albeit that they built it up again. Shocking. Shocking. The red bird, my eyes are leaking. And as he says, it's a yes for Anthony. See, look, you know, that's a postcard, that.
yeah.
That's a postcard. And as it says, Commutation Row, Liverpool. Just beautiful.
Just beautiful, yeah.
And as the Will Peace says, it's just disgraceful how they knocked these beautiful buildings down to replace them with these glass monstrosities.
Yeah.
Couldn't put it better myself. Couldn't put it better. And they're just a few things, you know. You know, I'll give you 2 buildings that they wanted to pull down. 2. And I got involved where they did, no, 3. 3 buildings. You'd be made up with one of them. Well, you'd be made up with 3 of them, right? But one especially. The bottom of Bow Street, you've got the Lyceum. And that was built, you know, it opened its doors in 1801, right? And, but it was built in 1798. So by the time everything was getting done and blah, 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 you know, they opened its doors as the big newsroom in 1801. The Lyceum. Beautiful building. They wanted to pull that down.
Yeah.
They wanted to pull it down. There it is there.
Yeah, beautiful.
Right. They wanted to pull it down. And I got involved with it, you know, saving it, which I'm absolutely delighted with. Delighted with. The other building they wanted to pull down, and it was an arson attack. And that was on the Collegiate in Shore Street, the big Collegiate. So, do you know what they wanted to put on the Lyceum there? Do you know another precinct? You know, like the one in Williamson Square?
Yeah.
That's what they wanted to put at the bottom there. Taking that down to put something stupid like that.
There's a glass.
Well, he said a monstrosity of a glass thing. Anyway, they wanted to look at that.
Yeah.
And I got wind of that. I was only over the road at Open University teaching. I said, they can't fucking pull that down. I said, they can't pull it down. Went down. Do you know the significance of the thing? Do you know the significance of that building? Do you ever have a clue? Look at it. Look at it. And I fought to save them. And I did. So what they did, instead of just pulling it all down, which they should have done with loads of things, they built apartments inside. I actually went into one of the apartments. Some architect who was working on Liverpool 1, you know, was the historical consultant for them. And I got chatting with him. I said, where are you living? And he says, oh, I said, go away. I said, I teach up there. So anyway, went over and went in. Lovely place. Beautiful. So I was made up with that.
Yeah.
Saving them.
Yeah.
Also, another building, but it wasn't so much a building, Anthony. It was the post house in Cumberland Street.
Yeah.
Pub.
Yeah. Know it well.
Pub. Right? And you saying, I tell you who got hold of me. Freddie O'Connor. Did you know Freddie?
Yeah, I did. Lovely man. Yeah.
He said, Frank, he said, can you help us? There it is.
Yeah.
There it is. He said, can you help us? I said, what are you on about? And he said, get down here, what are you doing? I said, I'm going to work this afternoon. He said, are you working tomorrow? And I went, no. I've got a day off, strangely, you know. Because he had no lectures going on the next day. Because I said, I'm not working tomorrow, you know. So anyway, I went down. the next day, and it was to save that. They were pulling that down. Now, if you look at that carefully, look at the building to the left of it, or to the right of it, if you. But to the left, that new modern building,
Yeah.
right, they're flats. They wanted to put them flats right down and take. They, think about it. They wanted to take that away and build them. And see what I mean? To the left and the right of them.
Yeah.
Look at the history behind that.
It's one of the most historic pubs in the city.
Oh, Charles Dickens went in there like he did in the Lyceum.
Yeah.
Charles Dickens went in there. A fellow by the name of Nathaniel Hawthorne, who wrote one of the great books. He was actually an American consul here, and he wrote the Scarlet Letter about these Puritans and this girl who was an adulteress. So she was walking around. She had to have this purple scarlet letter A, adulteress, on every dress she wore. The scarlet letter, fantastic. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
And imagine that though, coming down, and it's allegedly said, who else went in there? Allegedly.
Adolf.
Yes. Now, Adolf did come over in 1920 after the First World War, because he had a sister living over there in Liverpool. Also, Wilhelm, his half brother, was working at the Adelphi. He came over, and it was allegedly that he went in there.
Didn't he try and get a place in Liverpool Art School?
Yeah, he did. I'll tell you something about that. Not about the big H, like, but what it was. I had this group of people, and this fella knew me. I didn't know this fella. He was a lovely fella. But I was at the building, the science building, hygiene building, right facing the cathedral, the Catholic cathedral, right facing there.
Yeah.
Anyway, he shouts me over. He said, "Do you want to see something?" I said, "Oh, what's that?" He said, "It's on the roof of this building." I went. I said, "What is it?" He said, I said, "Oh, I'm with this group of people." He said, "Bring them." And we all went up on the lift to the building. And I went out right up to the top, the roof, flat roof, wall around, big wall. And I'm looking, I'm saying, yeah. And there was all this graffiti, as I thought. I'll have a guess whose graffiti it was.
Not him.
I'll tell you.
Yeah.
John Lennon's and Paul McCartney's.
Oh. Wow.
That's what he took, and it's still there today.
Wow.
In this building. But look at that building, the post house.
Yeah, beautiful.
So Freddie was made up. We saved it. We saved it. See what the lads have been saying.
Freddie too, like Jared, was a lovely Liverpool soul who catalogued so much history, didn't he, through his camera lens.
Yes. Gary Rigby. Evening, everyone. I'm a bit late tonight. Hello, Gary.
Evening, Gary.
Love that pub, he says.
Yeah.
And the Red Bird. May the Lord have mercy on their rotten souls. Not these people who are. And Gary says, Adolf Hitler, the fascist dictator. There's a few fascist dictators today as well, to be honest, Gary.
Yeah.
And Will says, the problem is the people in power don't give a damn about the history of any of the buildings. They are just interested in filling their pockets. Makes me so angry. So you can imagine, Will, the way I feel and the way I felt as well.
Yeah.
At the time being told, but at least I saved a few, which I'm delighted. I saved the White Mansion House.
Yeah,
Up in Calderstones. And you know what though, Anthony? Again, they didn't know the history behind the building. And that, I said, you can't pull that down. Where are you pulling that down? Do you know the history behind that? They went, but we want to build homes. I said, you can't pull it down. I said, that was Sir Spencer Percival's ancestral home. And do you know what the reply to that was? Use it. Use it. I said, the only British Prime Minister ever to be assassinated by a fellow Liverpoolian. And, you know, that's the problem we have. And as Will says to the Red Bird, they don't have souls. No, they don't. Gonna have to catch up later. I like hearing about old buildings, says Gary Rigby. And Gary says, Frank, do you remember the fruit and veg depot on the corner of Tunnel Road? Yes. And if you look at Tunnel Road, Jason won't be able to put this up, unfortunately. There's a building there, a red brick building. A red brick building. It's not like red brick, it's like sandstone building, red. And I think it's an antique shop. Now, well, it was, I'm going back years ago when I went in there a few times. I went in there simply because of historical significance. That's all. Didn't want to go and collect any antiques. And when I went in, I was just looking around. Oh, couldn't believe it. And do you know what it was, Anthony?
No.
On Tunnel Road, it was the very fit. Excuse me, I've got this bloody itch again. This is nuts, you know. Excuse me. It was the very first passenger, railway passenger, what do you call it?
Waiting room.
Waiting room.
Yeah.
There it is.
Oh.
I'm sure Jason's. I'm sure he's a warlock. Not that these photographs.
He's certainly a psychic.
Something. Blimey.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Wow.
That was a waiting room. The only, because when the Edge Hill and that, was open, tunnel roads, people used to wait for the trains, and it used to lash down and snow and everything. And they said, we got to do something about that, But they couldn't build it down there. So what they did, they built it up there, the waiting room. Isn't that incredible?
Yes.
Best waiting room for the railway in the world. Just love it. Just love it. So there you have it, Gary. Well, very true, mate. I was going to say that, but for some unknown reason, didn't the soulless Frank. They didn't have a clue, Frank. They want to write Liverpool out of it. I go mad over that. Liverpool doesn't exist. That's why you get a banner saying, the Republic of Liverpool. We might as well be a republic because we're forgotten by the historians. I've always said this.
Yeah.
In 1644, there was the siege of the castle during the English Civil War. And after 18 days, the Cavaliers took the castle, the Liverpool castle. Then they went up to Marston Moor, just outside York. And that's where they were bedraggled. They lost 2,000 men or 1,800 men. And by the time they got there, they were tired. They were bedraggled. They were bloodied. And some of them were terribly wounded. And it gave the parliamentarians a big lift. And they went, we'll sort these. And it was from Marston Moor that Charles I went to Scotland and surrendered himself to the Scots. Liverpool don't even get a mention. They don't get a mention. That's just a little part of history.
Yeah.
Who knows anything? Who knew anything about one of the greatest Victoria Cross holders in the world? In the country, not the world. Fella who won one of them. Victoria Cross. And you know what? I'm talking about British history. Never gets a mention. And he was Liverpool's first recipient of the Victoria Cross. John Kirk. No one mentions him. The only people who mention him is me. Wrote a play about him. It's on everything. Got all the city back, even the eyelids get it, And oh yeah. Gary says, I know a Frank, it's still going over the road from Edge Hill Station.
Well, that's fantastic, it's still going.
Yeah. That antique shop is still there, absolutely. And Gary says, and just to the left of that building was a big pub called the Tunnel Hotel, now long gone. And the Red Bird. Gary, they are doing a good job destroying our history, sadly. Everybody destroys Liverpool history. Everybody. That's why I always remember Ken Dodd, and he was backing me for something project. And he bloody died on me. He said, "I'll back you." I'll tell you who was standing next to me when he said it. Tom Murphy.
Yeah.
Me and Tom, yeah. Do you ever see Tom Murphy?
I haven't seen him for a while. We still keep in touch.
Well, yeah, I'll ask him this. Just say, Frank told me this thing. Me and Tom, this is, honestly, this is true, this. I've hardly told anybody about this. And Tom will clarify it if you ever mention it. Me and him were standing outside. We went up to the good turns, you know. Anyway, standing there. And there was only me and there, Tom. Everybody else was inside. And I was just standing outside with Tom. And the car pulls up. And there's Ken getting out. It's Ken, you know, Ken Dodd. And he gets out. And he goes, you know, he said hello to Tom, said to me, you know, my good friend. He said, I said, I'm okay. He said, listen, because he used to see me, you know, in lectures. You know, he's giving like talks, you know, like I give talks. I've got to go in March to that place, you know, where we go over the water.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
In March, yes. I've got a message off that Maryland one. Anyway, you know the way you give a lecture and have a laugh and whatever. Genuine this. Tom was looking at me like that. And he said, Ken said to me, he says, I'm thinking of doing a show and I want you with me. But I'll be doing the jokes. So he says, are you sure? He said, yes. He said, I don't want your jokes. He said, my jokes. And he said, I'll sort it with you. I said, okay. And Tom he went, give it in. Genuinely. Who believed that? He Ken Dodd on stage.
He was such
you know,
such a deep and well-informed gentleman, Ken Dodd. He was amazing. And he did, there was no airs. If he appreciated something or someone, he would tell them what you did was great. I got the greatest accolade from him, nothing to do with painting, but because I played music at Scousology Awards and we were at the same table with him and Pauline, our friend Pauline. And he was great. He was great. I thought he was going to get up with me. I thought that would have been something, but yeah.
He gave me the greatest compliment, though.
Yeah.
And he said, you're the best historian on Merseyside.
Yeah.
The whole of Merseyside.
Yeah. Because
someone told me he was at this talk and he was this historian. I don't know who he was, I don't know who the fellow was. And he said to the person who brought him along, I don't even know who brought him along, he said, why isn't Frank up there? And he said, we decided to get, he said, there's no one better than Frank. And got up and walked out.
You know what? And he speaks the truth. He did.
It's mad, isn't it? And Gary says, how did the prejudice against Liverpool start? Look, I've always said this. I've always said it. Liverpool was in the right place at the right time for sale. For sale, sailing ships. So all the things throughout the centuries was from Liverpool. And people were, especially business people, were getting fed up. And especially when, like, the stock market came about, because people had to come up here, all these business people. So anyway, we were giving out everything from the very first dock system in 1715 when it opened, to the very first passenger railway system in the entire world, the very first tunnel that went underwater. We did all this. There's loads we gave, loads of it. And you can't, like, just ignore this, but we were ignored. And it became like a jealous sort of thing. And they wouldn't even give us our city status until 1880. We didn't get our city status until 1880. So it goes back years. We had the very first stone township in 1566. 1566. The very first stone township we had. We had the very first paved town. Very first paved town. So everything, Liverpool. And then all of a sudden, we were getting mentioned less and less throughout history. And it keeps going on today. Less and less. Sod Liverpool. What's Liverpool done? We were the most bombed city, with the exception of London, throughout the Second World War. Shocking. You don't even know about the mobilisation during the Peninsular Wars, Napoleonic Wars, Crimean Wars, anything. You don't hear about the mobilisation here, the all set sail. So why aren't we mentioned? We had the very first electrified overhead railway in the entire world. Electrified railway station. We had the very first escalator in the world. We had the very first, believe it or not, two-way systems for the police in cars. It was us. We had the very first radio, hospital radio in this country. The X-ray. Look at the X-ray. The very first radio broadcast in the world. In the world. Sir James Chadwick of Liverpool University, on the site of the Catholic Cathedral, split the atom. It was an Oppenheimer. They had to send for him. The Manhattan Project. Why aren't we mentioned? I don't know. So that's the prejudice. And the Redbird says, Gary, the prejudice against us partly to do with jealousy. Yep. They've used and abused us for as long as I can remember, says the Gary the Redbird. And he says, replies to the Red, I've watched this happen for years and nothing ever gets done about it. Listen, I always remember Tony Snell coming up to me and going, they are superstar, and handed me an email. And they wanted me to present, go around the country doing this historical thing. And when, anyway, it got to the, I don't know who was, head of the BBC or whatever, he said, oh, we can't use his accent. So it's not only prejudice, it's also against the accent.
Yeah.
So,
It's like racism.
God, yeah, discrimination and a big. But Gary, it's sickening. And Gary says, trams overhead railway all from Liverpool and taken away from us. Yes. Even we had the Lion, like the oldest steam engine in the entire world, because they actually done away with the rocket. But that was the second one. The Lion, we built it. It was ours. Ours. And Manchester tried to claim it. Will P says, we had the very first floating landing stage in the world. Yes.
Yeah.
Forgot about that. That was copies all over the world. You're right. We played in a place when the Brazil was in holding the World Cup, a place called Maltas or something like that. And it has a big poster, big peg saying, this is a replica of Liverpool landing stage. Liners used to go there. And a lady told me that. You've been on a cruise, and she said, you must be so very proud of Liverpool. I went, why? And she told me.
Wow.
Anyway, the Redbird says, Frank and Anthony, I've got to pop off. Wishing you and Anthony and your loved ones a very blessed and happy New Year. Chat hope you all have a fab New Year with many blessings. Catch you later, my people. Isn't that lovely?
That's beautiful. Redbird, we wish you exactly the same.
Absolutely.
You and yours, absolutely a wonderful year ahead.
Absolutely. And well, okay, all, I have to go now. I wish you all the very best for the new year. And there's a pint for me, scotch for you, glass of milk for that bit. But anyway, we've got to finish, I didn't realise the time. And Andy, it's been great, hasn't it?
It's been fab. Yeah.
And look at that. Happy birthday for Thursday, Anthony. Best wishes from Jason.
It's Wednesday, but thank you, Jason. I will continue from tomorrow night till Thursday night. That'll be my birthday.
I think it's great. It's been great. It's been wonderful tonight and all through the year. And you'll be back in 2025 next week.
See you next year. Yeah.
Next year. Yeah. In other words, next Monday.
Jason, thank you so much. I'll save you a piece of cake next year. Frank, thanks, man. It has been great tonight, and it's been great. It's like we said, the chat direct us to,
That's it. It's been great tonight. All the best, Frank Carlyle and Anthony. Says Will.
All the best, Will.
Gary Rigby. Cheers, Frank and Anthony. All the best.
All the best, Gary. To you and yours for a good year.
All the best for Wednesday, Anthony, says Will P.
Thanks, Will.
And Sony LFC. Happy birthday, Anthony. Couple of scotches there.
Oh, thanks, Tony. I'll start tonight then, yeah. Thank you.
And he carries on by saying, all the best for 2025, Frank and Anthony and chat. And on that wonderful little thing.
Yeah.
And a happy new year, says Jason to all.
And Happy New Year to you, Jason. Well done.
So it's for me to say, listen, people, I love yous. I really mean that. You've been so good to me and Anthony over the year.
Yeah.
I've got the Liverpool podcast tomorrow at 5 o'clock. I'm going to start it at 5. No, I'm not. I'm going to start it at 6. I don't know what time, bloody hell, but 6 o'clock. I'll do it at 6. And that'll be on there. But it's just for me to say now. Just for me to say. Tony, LSC, and you, Jason, Sally, and there's a Scott here, yeah. And even Will P. All the best, Jason.
Brilliant.
And it's just for me to say, listen, thank you so much from Anthony and myself. We hope 2025 is a better year than we've had now. You know, the last 3 years. Let's hope for the peaceful. I don't know. I don't think we'll have it, but let's between ourselves, you, me, Anthony, and everybody else on the chat. Thank you so much for spoiling us, to be honest.
Yeah.
Thank you. Love yous all, honestly, I do. And just have a great new year. If I don't see you tomorrow, have a brilliant new year. And let's hope that we're all happy once again. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you to Gap Painting Services for sponsoring the Frank Carlyle Show. Thank you to my very good friend, Anthony.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you,
Jason. Yeah, and Jason, you know, without Jason, look what he's done to me. Incredible.
Jason, all together.
Yeah. And to the chat, without you, there'd be no show. You would, me and Anthony will just be me and Anthony. None of this.
Sit in the park.
It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that.
Thank you all.
The Red Bear says, Soz, I forgot to say, have a wonderful birthday, Anthony. 100% cakes, everything there later on. Thank you, Red Bear. And as I said, thank you so much. Love you all. You're a decent people. And let's keep it going. See ya. Bye.
Good night.